So, this gathering is about coming into alignment with who you really are. We've been talking about alignment for many, many years in this sort of a setting or forum. First, we said to you, when you desire something and you believe otherwise, you are splitting your energy. But when your desire and your belief are in the same place, now you're in a place where it can be manifested. We talked to you about your inner being. We talked to you about this stream that flows in the direction of who you really are. And today we are talking about this vortex of creation. We know we're hard to explain to your friends who aren't here. What went on in that meeting, well, it's hard to explain. Well, try. Well, there's this man who calls his wife Abraham. And she must be some sort of a multiple personality because she refers to herself as they and we. And recently she's taken to drawing a big circle on the floor and insisting that it's a vortex and telling us all we should go there. We are endlessly looking for ways to help you focus on a vibration that you cannot translate through your physical senses. Your physical reality is so intoxicating to you because you see it with your eyes and hear it with your ears and smell it with your nose and taste it with your tongue and feel it. It's this tactile reality. You say it's real because I'm translating it, and so are others. And we want you to know that there is a vibrational reality that is more real than the reality that you're translating. It's just that you can't translate it with your eyes and ears. It's a vibration that is translated through your emotional sensors. It's a vibration that lets you know. In other words, how do you describe the sensation? In other words, there's smelling and there's seeing. Yes. There's tasting and there's touching. But what about knowing? Can we call knowing a sense? What about believing? Is believing a sense? Is hoping a sense? In other words, these are emotions, but don't you just love the taste of ice cream? And don't you just love the taste or the knowing of your own worthiness? Don't you just love the alignment of source? Don't you just love being tuned in, tapped in, turned on, a vibrational extension of all that you are here focused in this body? Yes, seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching and knowing and loving and fully functioning as source energy in a physical body. That's what you came for. Not one of you said, I'll go forth and I'll pinch myself off from knowing and loving. I'll pinch myself off. I'll sacrifice who I am. I'll struggle and I'll make it happen. And we say, you're getting carried away with that. You're carried away with that. In other words, it's so interesting to watch so many of you making your decisions and making your action from outside the vortex when it's really, 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 really hard. Jerry and Esther were laughing because they were just here just a few months ago. And when they left here, their monster bus broke down on Highway 80. Just stopped. Wasn't easy to get off the road either. It's big. No power steering, no brakes, no engine. It just stopped. And Jerry and Esther looked at each other. No cell phone service either. And Esther said, I think I would like to live here for the rest of my life. How do you feel about this beautiful place? Jerry said, how much water do we have on board? And then they began to laugh because before they were here, they were in San Antonio. And when they were in San Antonio for 9 days, Esther had a long list of things to do, and she was going to make it happen or die trying. And Jerry was in the vortex. And Esther attributed him being in the vortex to the fact that she had the list. When you're not in the vortex, you can justify anything. So Jerry is bounding around the property. He's entertaining everyone. He's working with the building crew. He's making plans. He was just flowing with the stream. He was tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And Esther was smiling and polite and working very hard to get everything done. And Jerry said, I think I'm going to take the bus over to Detroit Diesel. We haven't had it serviced for a while. And Esther said, well, we're on our way to Marathon. Can't we do it there? And Jerry said, I don't know. I just feel like I'd like to take it over. And Esther said, it's 50 miles over there. And if they need to keep it, everything I need is in it. And we have such a short period of time as she began defending her out of the vortex position. And now as they're sitting on the side of the road, have you ever seen a 45-foot tour bus towed? It was very interesting. And it had a big hole in the big intake air. And so that's why they hadn't had much power in the mountains, and it's why they were off on the side of the road. And then Esther said to Jerry, I'm having an epiphany. From now on, in our family, let's make a deal. The one who's in the vortex gets to call the shots from now on. And then Esther thought of how many times and how many mothers, usually mothers, isn't mother usually calling the shots, and isn't she usually the last one to be in the vortex? Her feeling of responsibility is so great. Her feeling of sacrifice often is amplified. In other words, you get what we're talking about, don't you? In other words, it's so easy to focus upon the details of life and get bogged down to the point that you're not even a distant memory of the true being that you really are. And then the harder it goes, the harder you dig in, and the harder you dig in, the more you justify, and the more you justify, the harder it goes, and the harder it goes, the more you dig in, until you have a breakdown on the side of the road. And so we want to talk about getting in the vortex. We want to talk about making it your highest priority. We want to talk about getting in the vortex because that's where you rendezvous with all of your clarity and all of your power, all of your wisdom, all of your knowing, all of your balance, all of your stamina, all of your well-being. That's where you rendezvous with everything you want. That's where you meet up with everything that you've put there, you see. And to spend any time doing anything else. Now we know, Jerry and Esther have laughed about it even since then, because they are always focusing and always wanting to be in the vortex. But sometimes things just happen, and when you focus, you're not. And sometimes Esther will find herself saying, Jerry too, but not so much. He's usually standing off laughing at Esther. Jerry will say, want to take 15 minutes to meditate? And Esther will say, I don't really have time for that. And we're in the vortex saying to her, although she can't hear it, you don't have time not to get in the vortex. In other words, if you'll take the time to tune to the frequency of who you are, you're not just tuning to the frequency of who you are. You're not just tuning to your well-being. You're tuning in a way that allows your cells complete communication with one another and with Source. You're tuning in a way that allows you to be a cooperative component to everything that the law of attraction has already gathered and put into your vortex. And do you know the silly thing that's tripping you up? The only silly, really ridiculously silly thing that's keeping you from understanding this vortex and from being willing to acknowledge it and go right into it is that you are accustomed to translating reality through your eyes and your ears and your nose. You want to begin translating your reality through your love, through your joy, through your knowing, through the way you feel. We want you to say things such as, I can feel that, or I'm on my way to that. I can feel that. I'm reaching for the feeling of that. So, we have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is delicious to come together with those like you, who are understanding a little more every day who you are and why you are here. The appreciation that we feel for your willingness to mix it up out there in the confusing world, while without knowing it, you are contributing to this magnificent vortex of expansion. They are not words that accurately describe the appreciation we feel for the solutions that you have provided, even when you can't personally find them. It is thrilling to us to feel the vibrational movement that has taken place here. Not because manifestations are going to shower down around you, while they are, but because you're supposed to feel like you feel now, not like you felt before now. This is how you're supposed to feel. This is who you are. You're supposed to feel loved. You're supposed to feel honored. You're supposed to feel capable. You're supposed to feel sharp. You're supposed to feel witty and valuable and flexible and exhilarated. You're supposed to feel fun and full. You're supposed to feel knowledgeable. You're supposed to feel love. You're supposed to feel good about you and good about your world and good about the future and good about what's coming and good about what's here. You're supposed to feel good, you see. And it is exhilarating to us to find you feeling gooder than you felt. And know that it is because of the power of your desire and the little bit of allowing that we carved out here together today. We're all making way more of this than we need to. Life is not as hard as we make it out to be, but life in the vortex is easy, while life outside the vortex isn't. So we think we've done a really good job of selling you on the existence of the vortex, on the existence of your vibrational reality, on the existence of the larger part of you, and of the importance of beginning to address your world, your physical world, your day-to-day world in conversation and in exposure to life on a vibrational basis. We want you to be the emotionally guided beings that you are. It thrills us when you don't give a rip what others think, because in releasing your attachment to their opinion, you will discover the fullness of the opinion of Source. And in the absence of resistance, as you worry about what others are thinking, you'll find the acceptance and the adoration and the fullness of Source and the opinion that Source holds for you. So be easy about it. Don't make a big deal about it, even though we did all day. Chill out about it. Understand the vortex is there. Get in it as often as you can. Don't beat up on yourself when you're not. When you're in it, milk it as much as you can. When the vortex spits you out, laugh about it and get back in as quickly as you can. Tell others that you're a vibrational being, and if they don't understand, tell them that it doesn't matter if they don't understand, you're still a vibrational being. Tell them that you are a vibrational being and they are a vibrational being, and that you're like radio signals, and that law of attraction is causing you to rendezvous. Or don't tell them. It doesn't matter if you tell them. It's just important that you know it yourself. And the most significant thing that we want to say, and we've sort of been queuing up to say this all day here today, is that you have been in the vortex now for a consistent period of time in the hours that we've been together, more than in the last several years put together. In other words, this has been an in the vortex day. Some of you felt the stress of it a bit. Some of you felt the satisfaction of it a bit. But we are here to tell you there has been vibrational movement within each and every one of you, for sure. Vibrational movement has taken place, which means your vibrational point of attraction has shifted. Your relationship with your vortex has shifted, but your relationship with everyone and everything you know has shifted too. And the evidence of this shift will be obvious to you, and it is our desire and the amplification that we're going to put on it as we are watching you in your discovery of the evidence of this shift. We want you to feel the I didness of this. We want you to feel that this is my creation of this. We want you to feel the worthiness of this. In other words, we want you to feel that warm blanket of Source Energy's adoration of you in every one of those manifestations that begins to show up in the next few days. We want you to say, this is evidence of the rightness of my being. Will serve you really, really well. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain eternally and blissfully, and we don't have to be patiently in the vortex.